What's up, everyone? Today, we have another fantastic compilation featuring the best stories from r/Pettyrevenge. These 6 incredible tales will shock and entertain you. Subscribe if you're new here. This story is titled, I'll Pay You Tuesday for a Dress I Want to Wear Today, posted by u/1961. I had a coworker named Lori. She was super loud and obnoxious and was into everyone's business. After the first week of working with her, I requested a new desk far away from her. Although my request was granted and I got to move, Lori came by to chat at least twice a day. One time after she visited me, one of the women in a neighboring cubicle took me aside. She informed me that Lori is a scammer, and any money she's borrowed she hasn't paid back. She even had small claims judgment against her for when one of our coworkers sued her for not repaying a loan. She owed both the Avon and Pampered Chef reps money. She had an endless supply of new employees to scam out, because our unit trained new people before they went to their permanent unit. Her other scam would be she'd tell her people that her friend is making box lunches to raise money, and convinces people to buy lunch. Come the day of the lunch, and she only brought half the lunches, and then she leaves for the day. One afternoon I am looking online for a wedding guest dress. Lori walks by and oohs and ahs over the dresses. She asks for the website. And then about an hour later she comes back to me with an idea. She points out that shipping is free if you spend $99 or more. She tells me about her brilliant idea of her saving me money by buying a dress for myself, and one she picks out for herself. I pay for both dresses, and she said after it's delivered she will repay me. Payday is just around the corner. In reality, I didn't order either dress. After about 2 weeks, I tell her the dresses will arrive at my house by the weekend, and I will need my money by then. She tried to stall me and also tried to give me reasons why she needed the dress as soon as possible, and why she had to pay me later. She kept trying to negotiate with me. She backed down for a while, but she decided to try me one last time. I told her I sent both dresses back because I found one I liked better at the mall. After that, she left me alone. She kept to herself, and then was made to transfer out due to her poor performance. This story is titled Salad Bar Revenge, posted by u/XboxGamer2122. This next tale takes us in a completely different direction. Just this morning I was at a local supermarket and grabbed a fruit bowl for lunch, planning to eat it in my car. It was just pieces of fruit in a plastic container that was a single serving. There were no forks there. So I went to the pay by the weight salad bar to get one from there. As I was reaching to take a fork from the rack, an employee standing at the salad bar asked me what I was doing. I showed him the fruit bowl, but he told me in a very snotty voice that the forks were for salad bar use only. When I explained that I was buying a product from the same store, he said something about not being able to simplify what he said to me, so that I would be able to understand it. So, I followed the rules. I grabbed a styrofoam salad bar container, put 1 chickpea in it, and snatched a plastic-wrapped fork before he could say anything. He followed me to the cash register, probably thinking I was going to ditch the styrofoam container. When the cashier put it on the scale, nothing registered, and all I had to pay for was the fruit bowl. As I was walking past him, I made eye contact and said, "Have a nice day, sport." This story is titled Paid the Price for Making People Laugh at My Dad's Expense, posted by u/Nuns with Nunchucks. This story is equally incredible. It was my dad's birthday recently. In my speech, I decided to include an anecdote about the day my dad had the talk with my younger brother. I was eavesdropping, so I heard most of it, but the part that stood out to me was my dad telling my brother that his existence was proof that sex can be expensive, so he must keep in mind that condoms are cheap. It was funny. People laughed. And then I added the obligatory wholesome stuff to remind everyone what an awesome person my dad was. My dad approached me afterwards and thanked me for the speech. But then he also promised to get me back for bringing up the sex talk story. I laughed and said something along the lines of, "Empty threats, old man." A few days later, I was driving with my dad, running errands with him. And shit, when we stopped at a gas station. The tank was full, but my dad wanted to buy snacks to satisfy his sweet tooth. I said I was gonna wait in the car, but then he looked at me like that was the weirdest thing to do in the world, so I put my phone away and entered the gas station with my dad. As soon as we approached the cashier with our stuff, my dad unexpectedly cashed in his threat by asking the cashier to add a box of condoms. Without anyone saying anything, he proudly informed the cashier that he was buying the condoms for his son, and then he pointed at me. I was like, "Dad, what the F?" The cashier pointed to the variety of condom brands on the shelf behind her, and asked my dad to choose. I told the cashier my dad was joking, but my dad interrupted me and said he would never joke about safe sex. For no reason other than to apply more trauma, my dad showed the cashier a photo on his phone of me with my girlfriend before explaining to the cashier that I was still young and inexperienced, so he's doing whatever he can as a parent to make sure that his son didn't allow a fleeting moment of fun to become a lifelong moment of. I actually don't know what he said here, because I spoke over him and said I was gonna wait in the car, which I did. Moments later, my dad exited the gas station with boxes of condoms in his hands. The 1 or 2 snacks he bought were packed in a bag, but not the boxes of condoms. Oh no. Can't have that. People were staring as he approached the car, which I had to open because his hands were full. My dad awkwardly got in the car and said he didn't know what condom brand I preferred, so he got all of them. All I could do was laugh at how far my father was willing to go to get back at me for something that was apparently worth that level of public humiliation, lol. This story is titled No Shampoo for You, posted by u/YPK3345. Let's dive into another shocking story. This happened today. I'm a shopper via one of the various apps people can use to order whatever they want with delivery included. I have a hard and fast rule of no tip, no trip. But there is one exception to this rule when the stars align, and the conditions are perfect. If it's my last shop of the day, and the delivery address will be along my route home. One such offer came through, and it met the requirements. Less than a handful of items, no tip offered. But it would put me near home after the delivery. The first 2 of the 5 items was a very expensive boutique brand of shampoo and conditioner. On the shelf was 2 bottles of shampoo and no corresponding conditioner. I took a photo, sent it via the customer chat, and informed them the store was sold out of the conditioner. The customer responded immediately with, "You are stupid, I can see it in the photo." I then take another photo that shows the empty shelf, the item price tag on the shelf, and I explain again that they have one but not the other. The customer doubles down and calls me, and I quote, "You are a effing idiot." But the much more colorful word. This became a no-win situation for me. I knew that a bad rating was coming. If I completed this order and as no tip was offered up front, it was guaranteed that no tip would be added after. And nah. I didn't respond at all and canceled the shop. When a driver cancels, it immediately gets sent out to another driver. Knowing this, I did the next best thing. Took the remaining 2 bottles of shampoo, Bachpa, and relocated them behind some Legos in the toy aisles on my way out the store. The next shopper can now hopefully send them a photo of the empty shelf, void of both items. This story is titled But That's My Tio, posted by u/Wakemouth3000. This next tale takes us in a completely different direction. The company I worked for allowed 2 people per work team to be out on PEO at a time. Anyone else would be put on a wait list. They also awarded TEO by seniority, meaning if 3 people all wanted that day off, then the 2 who had been with the company the longest would get it. They hired a ton of people and decided to go with first request for get 1 year to that everyone would get an equal chance at POA. Cue my co-worker, who was a non-practicing Jew. She requested all the Jewish holidays off along with all the Christian holidays. Since she was the first request, she got them all. Wouldn't trade a single one, although many people on the team had very young children, and could have certainly used PTO around Easter and Christmas. So, the next year of PO starts, and 5 of us decided to come in bright and early the day PTO opens for requests. We proceed to put in requests for every single Christian and Jewish holiday, rotating who would get it, and the third person would be waitlisted. We also took summer holidays and put in for some Mondays and Fridays off for long weekends. Coworker arrives at her usual 9 a.m. start time, and is very upset to see that all of the holidays and summer weekends are not available for her. Throws a toddler tantrum about it going to HR. We all got pulled into a meeting about it. But in the end there was nothing anyone could do because we all followed the rules. She's always request trades and nobody would trade with her. The following year they put in a rule that if you had a specific holiday off the year before you couldn't have it again the following year. The 5 of us reviewed the TEO used the year before and put in for the following year following that rule. Coworker once again got nothing good. This story is titled Idiots Parking on Our Parking Area, posted by u/Buddy Von Kaus. And now for our final story of today. It was around 2010, on a rather warm sunny late afternoon in the summer. At my house, we have a concert driveway that's fenced in, and a strip of dirt outside that we tend to park our vehicles. My dad at that time, and still does have a bit of a short fuse. Just wanted to throw out some details to clarify. One of our many neighbors is throwing a large party, where numerous guests of theirs are parking alongside the street. That was all fine and dandy until one of their guests decided to park their brand new, burgundy-colored car that was freshly detailed in one of our parking spots, not bothering to ask or anything, just parked there like a schmuck. While the owner was gone for hours, my dad decided to go out front to water the front lawn, but made sure the water from the garden hose would splash all over the freshly detailed car. After it was all said and done, we didn't even hear a word from the owner or anyone else about the water-spotted car. And that's all for today's Reddit stories. These incredible tales never fail to amaze me. Subscribe for more compilations like this. What did you think? Drop a comment. Thanks for watching.